Hey, what's up everybody? Ted Carr here, welcoming you to my presentation on 2018 retirement survey that I conducted in collaboration with my buddy, Fritz Gilbert of the Retirement Manifesto. Here's what I'm going to talk about. I'm going to open up some background about the survey, followed by its objectives, who the survey was sent to, i.e. the target population, and the response rate that we got, findings, and wrap up with conclusions. Okay, some background about the survey. I got the idea for the survey actually last year when I conducted a survey of pre-retirees. I always want to bookend it or balance it out with a survey of actual retirees. And so that's what drove this survey. And as I mentioned, it's a collaboration between myself and Fritz. It was conducted in the first quarter of 2018. The tool used to construct the survey, distribute it, and analyze it was SurveyMonkey. All responses were anonymous. No personal information was shared or will be shared. Only 10 questions in total. The only restriction to taking the survey was that you consider yourself to be retired. The objectives, what we wanted to get out of the survey. Well, learn about our respective audiences, how they're doing with the financial and non-financial sides of retirement, what have they discovered about retirement, how they spend their time, how they view the future, are they happy overall, and also as a means to share information. Our survey population requests were distributed via social media and email to my audience and to Fritz's, i.e. the target survey population. I also posted an invitation to take the survey on my website, and I let people know that they could share the survey invitation with other retirees. I estimate that the survey population that we targeted to be at least 2,600. And a response rate roughly about 8%, pretty good. The applicable audience is much larger based on extrapolation. And here's what I mean by that. I think that the survey findings apply to more retirees than just the people we sent the survey to. I think there's more people that are part of, I'll call it a larger like-minded group of retirees. So even if you're not part of the target survey group and you're wondering if the survey findings apply to you, here's what I suggest. Look over the survey findings and get a sense whether you can relate. Also, check out my blog and Fritz's blogs, listen to my podcast, and again, if they resonate with you, then I think you can safely say that the survey findings do apply to you, too. Okay, let's look at the findings. First thing we want to know is just get a sense of the age of our respondents. Average age, 58. The median age is 60. 50% of the respondents were younger than 60. 50% were greater than age 60. 2% between 30 and 39. 10% between 40 and 49. 38% between 50 and 59. The largest group was between 60 and 69. And 2% between 70 and 79. Our next question, how many years have you been retired? 55% said 0 to 2, 20% 3 to 5, and 25% have been retired more than 5 years. Now, 75%, as you can see, have been retired less than 5 years, which places them in the early stages of retirement, in my opinion. Our next question, did you retire on your own terms? 83% said yes, and only 16% said no. Now, the reason that this matters is because studies have shown that people who control the circumstances of their retirement are happier and less stressed than those who are forced to retire. Our next question, rank your concerns from highest to lowest. Our number one concern, unexpected health crisis, followed by outliving your savings, cost of long-term care, a stock market crash, not having enough to do, isolation and loneliness, and relationship challenges. Now, I've read articles and I've heard from my podcast guests that outliving your savings is the number one fear of retirees. But in our survey, as you can see, it comes in second. Now, I suspect that's because most respondents have a financial plan that shows sufficient cash flow to last throughout their lives. So, if you're in a good place financially, what could jeopardize your retirement? Well, the obvious answer is an unexpected health crisis. My wife and I have friends who have had the misfortune of losing a spouse, one at the age of 53, hardly old. And not only did the surviving spouse have to adjust to the loss of their partner, but also to the loss of their retirement dreams. Our next question. What is your strategy when it comes to aging? 31% downsize into something smaller and manageable, more manageable. Age in place, wait and see, proactively move to a facility. I have not thought about it. Only 4% have thought about it. And this one I'm really happy to see none of the respondents have the plan to move in with their kids, which probably is a big relief to all the kids that are checking this out. So it comes as no surprise that most people want to continue to live in their own home, whether it's their current home or a smaller one. And up until recently, my wife and I fell into this category here, move into a facility. And the reason why we were considering this was because of the fear of the potential isolation that the surviving spouse may experience if they remain in their own home. Now, we've now begun to rethink this because there's more options that are becoming available out there, and also the cost of a CCRC, as you may know, is substantial. Our next question, what are your income sources? 84% of you have investment income, 60% have Social Security, 54% have pensions, followed by required minimum distributions, rental income, some self-employment income, only 14% say annuities, and 13% some paid part-time work. Now, clearly investment income and Social Security lead the way. But what surprises me is how many are fortunate enough to have a pension, because research has shown that people who have pensions feel more secure and optimistic about retirement. And in many cases, they also have health insurance. Next question, what are your favorite activities? 29% answered outdoors, sports and fitness, followed by travel, hobbies, reading and writing, social, family activities, learning activities, volunteering, only 4% volunteering, and 4% food and drink. These findings show that there are many different ways to enjoy retirement. And my co-host of my Retire Happy podcast, Roy Weinberg, has a saying where he goes, when people ask him, if he has, what he should do in retirement, he says, there's not just one thing you do in retirement, there are many things that you need to do in retirement. And I agree with Roy. The more things you're involved with, I think, the more rewarding your retirement is going to be. As to that low volunteer rate of only 4%, so I thought a little bit about it, because most people would assume that that would be, maybe one of the most popular ways that people spend their time after they retire. And I think that can be explained by the fact that many are relatively new to retirement and therefore are busy taking one of they call them the 3 initial retirement paths, either honeymoon path, immediate retirement routine, or rest and relaxation. And I think that there's a difference, in my opinion, between leading a happy life and a meaningful life. And I think it takes time to reach the point where you see giving back as a way to enhance your retirement happiness. So that's sort of my take about the relatively low volunteer rate. Next question. What has surprised you the most about retirement? How easy it is, the adjustment to spend, and how relaxing it is. How busy I am, I'm not bored. How much control and freedom and time that I have. That's some of the more negative ones, loneliness and isolation, boredom, feeling unproductive. Nothing. How fast time goes by. And I think, I look at these answers or categories and I group them into you're surprised in a good way or you're surprised in a bad way. So when I break it down or aggregate, I should say 64% are surprised in a good way, only 12% were surprised in a bad way. So it suggests a couple things to me. First, you've all done a great job in planning for both the financial and non-financial sides of retirement, that you were ready to retire and that you have found ways to enjoy retirement. Next question, what motivates you? Self-improvement, things like travel and learning, 23%. Social and personal interaction, freedom control plans, basically being in control of your life, doing hobbies, projects, crafts, getting busy with exercise and health. Only 12% cited responsibilities. And I think responsibilities are things like you have appointments you have to go to, meetings you have to take, And it implies the opposite of control, loss of control. And so, those sort of things are kind of maybe not really motivators, but they're things that you have to do. But on the positive side, most people have a lot that they are in control of, that they enjoy doing, getting out of bed in the morning to start their day off. Next, how do you grade yourself? In these categories: nutrition, exercise, family, social interests, managing your finances, and technology. You give yourself either an A, B, C, D, or E. Now, overall, I think that these grades indicate that our retirees are doing a great job of managing retirement, and the findings correlate with what you'll see in question 10, which is the overall happiness question. Now, that said, they also indicate that there is some room for improvement, especially when it comes to diet and nutrition, which is the category that has the greatest disparity between A's and B's. 49% B, 22% say A's. Our next question was actually our final question. How do you rate your happiness? 35% said very high, high 47%, okay 17%, only 1% low, and 0% very low. So, wow, 82% are either happy or very happy, which says to me that you've taken responsibility for retirement planning, adjusting to retirement, and starting a new chapter in your lives. I also think these findings corroborate some interesting research. Now, there's a study, papers written on the topic, and I've read too, on the U-curve of happiness, which says that as people get older, they get happier. So you're kind of like less happy when you're happy when you're young, and then you start getting older and get to middle age, and you're less happy. And then as you retire and get older, your happiness actually increases. So I think that's really good news for people that are approaching retirement. Let's wrap up with our conclusions. Many retired relatively young and are in the early stages of retirement. 83% control the circumstances of retirement, which bodes well for happiness. When it comes to managing the financial side, 61% give yourself an A. The non-financial side, a little more mixed. There's room for improvement when it comes to health, diet, nutrition, and exercise, and family and social interactions, two areas which I think are really vital. 3, it's great to learn that most are enjoying retirement, that you're busy and not bored. There's no way people choose to spend their time. There's a multitude of things. And I'm impressed that so many people are looking ahead. It's clear that most are happy. I think it's because, again, you control the circumstances of your retirement and doing a good job of managing your finances, which can be a major stressor. You have a lot of interests, and you are open to continuously improving your life. And lastly, I want to make sure that you know that you're invited to share your experience with others. And here's some ideas on how you can do that. Continue to listen to and share podcasts, such as my Retire Happy podcast. Shameless self-promotion, I know. Volunteer to be a guest on my podcast. Read and share blog posts. Become a guest blogger. Engage in social media. Believe it or not, there's a lot of great information out there about retirement on Twitter. And you can follow me, for example, at Retire Happy. And why not consider mentoring a young person to help them achieve financial literacy? So that wraps up my presentation. That's all I've got. Please feel free to share it however you wish. And also, you're invited to follow me on Twitter again at Retire Happy. And I have a Facebook group that's at facebook.com/Retirement Journeys. I also have a free newsletter that you can subscribe to from the Retirement Journeys homepage. Newsletter is free, no obligation. So again, thanks for watching, and I look forward to seeing you next time. Take care.